Let's see. Oh, there we go. We got the recorder in here as well. Hey there, Ruckchuck. Good to see you, man.
Hey David, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty great. About to head for Switzerland first for crypto finance conference, and then be the barbarian at the gates of Davos, talking open source and freedom to the establishment. So it's all fun. So it's like my only non-tech conference of the year. Go try to red pill a bunch of capital and corporate types. So yeah, it's usually pretty interesting. But
Just ask them if they want to, you know, have freedom and ownership of their own money.
I think that's true even of the corporate types.
Right.
They got to escape the machine sooner or later. So
I'm where Jack Ma goes when he goes missing for months at a time.
Right.
exactly. So cool, man. Well, let's jump right into it. Bo, you want to kick us off, man?
Yeah, sure. So hey everybody, it's been a busy week. We're continuing to make as many connections as we can with other projects and businesses. Ideally, again, the main focus right now is trying to build demand. We have a lot of support on the compute side. We're looking for as much demand as we can on the agent builder going live will obviously be a big part of that, and I know you guys will cover that. But basically users of Morpheus Network. On kind of another gear, I'm releasing a audio project, the first episode of it today. I'm going to be doing, I mean, it's technically a podcast, although um, I have experience hosting a couple podcasts in the past. This will be my first time doing something that's primarily solo, which was interesting. Talking to myself in a room, I realized was a whole different thing than having a conversation with somebody else. But I'm also going to be having on other community members and people who are helping to build Morpheus. I think we just need as much content as we can around what's happening in Morpheus. David has published some awesome I guess papers is the best way to frame them over the past couple weeks. And so the first couple episodes are going to be covering those to try to get just the word out there further on a lot of the stuff that's being worked on. I think marketing is a huge thing that we need right now.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a great theme for this year is the community has done such a great job of building smart contracts and back end tech. And the key this year is to really pull it into the front end, create beautiful dashboards, explain things in articles, do videos and podcasts so that people can really kind of feel and touch, the whole agent experience and becomes less abstract. But we've got all the building blocks in place. So, appreciate your work on that. I think that will be hugely valuable to do. And
Of
especially
course.
in audio and video formats accessible to the most people. And the
Yeah, I was going to
algorithm
say,
really rewards video. So I wouldn't be
yeah, I
surprised
was
to
going to
hear
say
these
I do have
videos
a
outperform the articles themselves.
I do have a plan for that as well. I'm going to kind of do it as two separate pieces of content or content types, but I'm working on some explainer videos as well, covering a lot of the same topics. Things like the papers that David's published. To try to tackle both of those angles. Because I agree, I think there's a huge benefit to having a visual component, and it does seem that the algorithms like that. I totally agree.
Yep. Cool. Any integration stuff that you want to highlight? I saw that making good progress. Fireblocks is live. Saw the Uno coin listing is live, which is great to see for the Indian community. They're one of the oldest and best established exchanges in all of India for crypto. So really cool to see sort of that OG support
Yeah,
from.
I think that that's probably the most exciting one. Over this past week, I met with a couple other groups, Cluster Protocol being one of them. Kyle, I pulled you into a group chat with them. They wanted to speak regarding compute and see if there's anywhere that they can plug in on that end. And then also working through Chris and I have been working through tagging. So we have a very big list of contacts, basically people who've expressed interest in the project in general. And so I'm going through and manually basically tagging which of these people represents a business or project that fits the need that we might have for capital or for media or for potential agent builders. And so it's a somewhat manual process, but that's something I'm working on as well, is making sure we're organizing all that information so we can best use of our time with who we're actually reaching out to.
Yeah, 100%. Well, and then the great thing is all those decentralized AI days last year produced like 4,000 attendees. And
Yeah, it's
so,
like 4,200.
yeah, a lot of people obviously interested in Morpheus and agents and everything getting built. So, yeah, love the idea of sort of mobilizing them with more detailed information about what they can do next to help be part of the community. Cool. All right. Well, let's jump into Rakshak. Why don't you tell us all about what's the latest on agents?
Yeah, so continuing to push, and so we have two directions right now that we're looking at. One is the MORAgents that's been out for a few months with many ongoing developments. So we're gonna have two new agents next week. One's gonna be popular token and NFT analyzer. So if you just ask what's the most popular trending tokens and NFTs, it'll fetch those for you. And then the second one is a rug pull analyzer. So it'll check for things like liquidity and volume and let you know if it's safe to whatever degree it can do that. We're also simplifying the UI so that it's a little bit more clean and easier to work with. So looking forward to that update. MORAgents is, for anyone who's not familiar, it's a currently local install that lets you run soon to be 13 different agents locally. And you can just ask it a question and it'll route automatically to the right agent. We were one of the first projects to ever adopt the router model where the user intent is mapped to the task specific agent. Um, Two of the agents that we released last month were the Coinbase dollar cost average agent, which lets you set up a dollar cost average trade, and the Coinbase gasless USDC sends. These agents are really special because they're the early preview of what's to come this year, namely having really good crypto trading or quant agents. So users will be able to. We're working closely with Coinbase on having the right guardrails so that agents can be securely given part of the private key, not all of it, and that the user can set up policies. So they can set up maximum spend levels or other rules that they want to ensure so that their funds are safe. But what this lets you do as a quant is build agents that can take very nuanced information from different sources like website RSS feeds, tweets, other Discord channels, whatever you want. You can pull that in. You can pull in price information. You can pull in. You can do sentiment analysis, and then make trades automatically in a much more nuanced way, which hasn't been possible before. So we're looking up. We're working with Coinbase to make sure we can have all the guardrails in place to do a much bigger launch on that, so that people can build agents that do trades. The second thing is we're working on a quick agent launcher. So one thing we want to experiment with is tokenized agents. So this is going to be something we are aiming to release in about a month from now. Users will be able to set up a style, so they can say, I want my agent to speak a certain way, and they'll be able to set up input streams. So I want my agent to read from these websites, find interesting news, and then post to Twitter. And whoever launches an agent with this gets the added bonus of having an automatic AMM liquidity pool with their own custom token, so that their agent can be popular and garner more capture. And what benefit that Morpheus can bring? This is one of the tests that we're doing as we gear up to release the builders bucket. Is that when you launch your agent with its token, the more tokens you have staked against your agent, the more emissions you get from the builders bucket from Morpheus to bolster your liquidity and make your offering much more attractive. And this is something very unique to Morpheus, which the other projects haven't really figured out, and it's a derivative of Morpheus's value proposition for enabling recurring revenue. So if we look at the success of SaaS companies in the last couple of decades, one of the things that people forget that really enabled all of that is credit cards. So being able to do recurring payments, monthly payments, yearly payments, this is really difficult to do with crypto. And so one of the ways we want to test out Morpheus's builder emissions to enable recurring payments is by having those recurring payments go into a liquidity pool for someone who wants to launch their own token. So really excited about both of these directions. People will be able to launch agents in a month that let you launch your own token, and then beyond that, we're going to have a big emphasis on getting more agents to be the industry standard for launching quant agents, so you can do automatic trading.
Awesome. Can't wait to see those new agents. I love that you're working with Coinbase on the wallet primitives. They're definitely the most advanced of any of the frameworks that we've seen. So I think that's really cool. Awesome. Well, thanks for the update. So I also want to give a shout out to one of the new contributors, Swan, has been doing a ton of updates on more.org. If you've seen, him add the Explorer or other news sections that Anton and others have worked on and put together, there's a whole new momentum around upgrading all the dashboards and all of the information on more.org, on more.builders, the other websites ahead of the builders rewards going live, which is only 6 days away. So we're getting really close, and just want to call out the great work by Swan. I've actually invited him starting next week to join these maintainer calls, so we can get a view for all the front end dashboard and website work being done, which I think the community will be super interested in. So great work there. Kevin, you want to go next?
Absolutely. Yeah, I've been focusing on the launch of the builder contract, as David mentioned. So there are a number of builders who need support in understanding how the smart contract works. How do they create and register a subnet? How do they think about how they participate in Morpheus rewards? So I've been reaching out to those teams, kind of giving them an update, answering any questions that they may have. Some of them have front ends where they can enable participation in Morpheus through their front ends. Ultimately, these subnets are going to be eligible for builder rewards and based on the amount of more that their users stake to their subnet. And then they'll be able to use that more to stake to other builders. They can sell it on the open market if they need to, or they can spend it on compute. Most of the builder subnets have users benefiting from inference, and Morpheus compute providers offer a lot of inference across many different foundational models. So just doing a lot of support leading up to that launch. It's just been exciting to see all the builders who are kind of interested in figuring out how they can participate in a more meaningful way in Morpheus, and this is sort of the final piece for that. I've also been doing a lot of ecosystem level kind of partnership conversations where, you know, despite not having any formal team, there are a lot of ecosystems that want to figure out how to work more closely with the Morpheus community. That includes the developer ecosystems, like Ruckshuck is working with the Coinbase team. How do Coinbase and Morpheus kind of do more things together, and kind of talking to some of the folks over at Coinbase who focus on interesting, decentralized AI projects like Morpheus, and then other agent tooling SDK projects out there, AI16Z, kind of you name it. I'm kind of working on figuring out, who are the right people to think about, ecosystem alignment and things that we can do together. Also, many of the subnets are also fitting into that kind of ecosystem kind of trends category. So as their subnets go live, we can also do some AMAs and kind of collaborations in terms of getting the word out about everyone's work. And then I'm really, really excited about what Ruckshuck and all the contributors around agent tooling are working on in terms of the ability to tokenize agents. So I've been taking sort of feedback from a lot of the conversations that I've been having with builders and just kind of helping provide some user experience, developer experience feedback into that concept that's being workshopped right now.
Very cool, man. Well, I appreciate all your contributions. Big credit on the visuals and diagrams in the articles, like those.
Oh
I think communicated so well in just like one image how it works, and I especially love that trilemma, the triangle that shows how to do alignment and sort of how Morpheus aligns, token holders getting rewards, emissions going to, all the contributors, 100% of them, and, the contributors providing capital, code, and compute to all the agent builders, right? That flywheel that's about to go live is
Yeah.
really unique. And I do think the analogy to Aerodrome and their recent success is a pretty good one, which is if you can get all three of those things aligned, completely, you don't you've just got an outsized ability to reward people in the right way with the right things. Right. So just like they've done with liquidity providers and token holders in their context. So yeah, that's exciting. So thanks for all the help on that.
Yeah. You have uncovered one of my hidden skills of and you can't get enough of it.
Yeah,
I do really enjoy taking pretty complex stuff like the forward looking 2025 article and yeah, trying to distill some of the big concepts down into visuals. That is fun.
cool, man. I appreciate it. Awesome. Yeah, no, that I'm glad you're getting everybody onboarded. I mean, there's all these builders that are excited about going live with Morpheus, but yeah, it takes somebody doing the hard work to get them on board and get them all set up. So appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, and if anyone knows any other builders who are just kind of looking for a quick call to figure out what's going on and how to launch a subnet, it's totally permissionless. Anyone can do it, and I'm available. So just pass them my way. It'll be a busy month, just kind of playing that enablement role, and I'm happy to do it.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it feels like this is the Morpheus wave is building. Right. You needed all the predecessors. You needed Akash. You needed providing GPUs and BitTensor creating subnets, and you needed virtuals making agents. And Morpheus is sort of tying all these pieces together. So yeah, ready for the wave. Kyle, you want to jump in next?
Yeah, sure. Um, I think one of the biggest efforts is kind of achieving what you were just talking about, right? Like the whole flywheel of how everything fits together. And um, I think the only missing link that we have now is getting agents to talk to the compute node, and that's a big focus right now and going to be a big focus for the next couple of weeks. I think Morpheus is the most valuable when you can create an agent, tokenize an agent, interact with the agent, and have that agent running through the Morpheus compute node. And within that, each party is being incentivized through the emissions of the protocol. So I think that's really when you get that full flywheel kind of powering itself and helping scale. So what's being worked on right now, and there seems to be a proof of concept, is a methodology to direct agent compute towards the compute node. And I'll be able to give some updates on that probably next week in the call, but really exciting stuff from that side. On the other side of the compute node, from more of a provider standpoint, we are continuing to work on Akash and with Akash to get templates live so that you could have a more or less what we'll call a one-click install of the Morpheus compute node on Akash compute. And once that's live, we'll see people kind of scaling up and scaling down based on demand in the system. And it really just creates a more sustainable framework for us and for the compute node in general. So really exciting. Akash is really excited for us to get this ready and hoping to have that also complete in the next 2 weeks. So a lot of great stuff there. And also just want to call out again the articles that were released. You know, anyone who hasn't read them, anyone listening live or listening to this call after, I really recommend that you go out and read them. They really highlight, what Morpheus is doing from like almost like an ideological side rather than just the technical we released XYZ. So kind of gets you into the brain of what Morpheus is for and what we're all doing rather than just seeing those tech updates that we like to get out.
Awesome. No, I appreciate that, Kyle. Yeah, and great work with Akash and everybody else. It's gonna be they're doing such great work on the GPU stuff. I also want to give credit to SETI and others that have really pushed the Morpheus router forward and set up their subnets super early so they can provide compute. So yeah, all the pieces are coming together, and specifically the articles are titled. The first one is subnets and agents, and the second article is about AI brain power and sort of just to try to define brain power as a unit of measure, right? Taking inspiration from the fact that people, can do about 2.5 words per second, and in AI token terms, that's 3.33 tokens per second, and using that as a unit of measure, then you can say, oh wow, this H100 has 300 brain power, right? Think of it as like an analogy to horsepower in a car, right? And I think that's really powerful because it just sort of lets people equate, oh, you know, these models are reaching human levels of performance, right? We used to talk about them being as good as a high school student or a university student, and now they're at like PhD level. So, that's amazing, right? That to me is the definition of AGI, right? Of artificial general intelligence, is when you can get a human level answer, right, out of a model. And you can debate whether that's, across all tasks or whether it really meets that definition. But even if it takes 6 more months and llama 4 or grok 3 meets that standard, it's clear in 2025 we're gonna have open source access to human level models, right? And so then it becomes about, oh wow, with Morpheus I can access that brain power at scale, and by staking my more, it becomes a reusable, recurring resource that I have access to. So anyway, yeah, appreciate everybody's feedback on the articles. They've been really great. So yeah, I guess the big update from my side is just on the smart contracts. The audits all are done. The contracts are live on mainnet. The multi-sig will set up the transfer of tokens to the treasury address for builders. Looks like on the 15th, and that'll be part of dashboards going live. So anybody will just be able to select from a list. Hey, I want to support CoinCap or Venice or XYZ builder, and start staking my more towards them. Right. And what are the rewards I get? What is the benefit? Right. So that's all being put into a great dashboard that will be on more.org, and I'll populate that tab if you've seen it for the builders section. So yeah, super excited about that. It feels like the agent wave is here, and Morpheus is about to put its surfboard in the water and start going. So excited to see that. So targeting the 15th. But yeah, there'll be more updates, but it's looking really great. So I think that's about it. Also, it's traveling today, but I've asked Ryan Condron to start joining the maintainer calls as well. I think it'd be great for people to hear the latest on the compute side. Kyle's been doing a great job of the onboarding, but I know Ryan's got additional updates and perspective to add. So I think that would be really awesome. So anyway, I think that's it for today. Anybody have questions or stuff they want to get or cover with other maintainers? All right. None being seen. We'll go ahead and call it there and push out this update. Thanks everybody for jumping on. Have a great week.
Have
See
a
you
good one.
guys.
Thanks, David.
All right, brother. Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thanks, David.
Bye.
See you guys.